everyone. Good afternoon. On behalf of Concision, we welcome you all today for the presentation, and thank you for your interest in investing in Concision. Concision is planning to implement Mission Zero and become environment-friendly company in New Zealand. So we are looking for investors, and thank you all for that. And before starting off with the background of Concision, I'd like to introduce my team. Myself, Ashok, Ritesh, Andrew, Yuchin, and Jai. Concision was started in 2014. It's a joint venture of Mike Green Homes and Span Below. So it's based in Christchurch. So what Concision does is they are a construction company. So it's like what they do is they build walls, floors, and ceilings in their factory, and then ship it to the building site and assemble it and build homes and commercial buildings. So sounds simple, right? So I have a video to show you guys like what we do and how things are done in our factory and end to end. So the video, please. We fix everything there. We fix the windows, doors, we ship it. This is the building site. Ready to move in. So to achieve the Mission Zeros, we did a research and we came across a company called Lango Rook. So they are established in 1848 and they are one of the giant in construction business. And these are a few important things which they have built, like Alder headquarters UAE, Dubai Airport, and Corsham UK, and they also built the Brisbane Airport. So they have implemented Mission Zero in 2010 and they were really excelled it, and they are doing very good. So what we want to do is like we want to follow Langorki's path and achieve in it. So I would like to ask Ritesh to give more details about Langorki and how they did it, how in their organization. So Ritesh will have.
Thank you, Ashok. From this pic, we can understand something. See, this is our Concision and this is Langorki. Regarding Mission Zero statement, but Concision had done so many things. Maybe we are good in panelized technology. Maybe we have the share of 20% in the construction industry. But we are not thinking about what we have done. We are thinking about what we need to do, because that's why we are here and we need your help for the investment. Langorki, we are giving an example of that. The multinational company, we have selected some of the important key points we can relate to the Concision because we need to implement Mission Zero strategies. From this finding, we have found that Mission Zero strategy of Langrook is more beyond than waste management and water management. It's went beyond to the community and to the people and to the industries. I will explain briefly about all the things. And first one is DFMA, Design for Manufacturing and Assembly. We need more investment in the DFMA because for this research we need an analysis of we need a recommendation from people from shop floor to the manager level. Then only we can implement all the DFMA approaches in our industry. The first one is the carbon emission. The Langrock implemented so many emission plans. The first one is the low impact materials. The by implementing low impact materials for the construction of the building, they reduced 15% of the carbon emission. Low impact materials means the recycled timber is one of the example. And the second one, they implemented by the production line. They improved the production line of every product. That's why they reduced the carbon emission, because we can say that if we improve the production line, at least if we reduce the idle time and everything, we can reduce the energy, because most of the energy is used by diesel generators or any other that type of generators, or maybe a hybrid one. The second one, I need to explain added to this point, certified emission measurement and reduction scheme by Langroque. This is a very important point. Most of the carbon management and measurement plan should have to given to external scrutiny by a government agency. And they will find that how the Langroque measure all these things, because that's very one of the benchmark criteria for Langroque. So they can improve the quality and they can reduce the carbon emission. That's a first part. And second thing, this environmental incidents. We can see that in New Zealand also a lot of environmental incidents we can see due to the construction industry. In the first one, we can see the environmental incidents categorized into 3 or 4, 1 to 5 categories. Due to Langroque conducted 670 environmental audits in the 2013 year, because the last audit they have conducted. So we can say that 1 day per 2 audits approximately. So this much of audit they conducted, and they found they made one. They have one project, River Light in London. They have went to that project. They found that it's a 0 category 1 incidents, then around 15 category 2 incidents, and 89 category 3 incidents. If we increase the categories, that means the harmless is less. The category 1, that means there's breaching of environmental laws. That the category 2 is less, category 3 is comparatively less. So they drastically reduce the environmental incidents to the through their approach. That's the other thing. And the next one is digital engineering capabilities, because we need skilled persons, because if we make a new products, because if I already explained in the part of DFMA, the first point, we need to make a good production line. If we are not making good production line, we cannot reduce the carbon footprint. In this point, we are in the Langroque. They implemented one digital software to learn around 20,000 of the employees, including the senior managers. So they produced around 2,000 products with good quality. So that means in that part also they reduced the carbon emission and all the things. And we are also looking more investment in that area, because most of the construction companies are looking for the more investment in digital capabilities. And the next one is DFM based solar farms. This obviously everyone knows, because now we are using more about diesel generators. If you are using by hybrid generators connecting with solar and all the things, we can reduce the power consumption. That's the next part. And we are moving to the waste management. In the first one, I already told the introduction. They have gone beyond the waste management to the community. In here, this community wood recycling, they have collected around 800 tons of timber. 800 tons of timber, and this job is given to the disadvantaged peoples. That means they are helping community. That's the first part. And then is waste tracker system. Every on-site of Langroque have this waste tracker system. Every day they can analyze the how much waste, how much soft plastics, how many hard plastics, how much are coming on every details they will get every day. Through that they have made different plans to reduce the waste materials. That's a thing. And other important thing is outsourcing development. Langroque is not concerned about their products, but they are also concerned about raw materials from the suppliers. Actually, this accreditation BES 6001 accreditation says that they need the suppliers should have to collect the materials from source materials, because source materials means, suppose if a supplier giving some products to Langroque, they have to make that product from source. That means less carbon emission, less. I'm talking about more recycled products. The source one, and the last one is water management. In this water management, talking about new minimal discharge system. They are implemented in River Light project in London also. It's says around they saved around 80% of the water through the conventional method, and but we are also using the grey water because grey water means that the water from bathrooms and kitchens, not from the toilets, but we need to go beyond our limitations to this one. Thank you. The next part of my presentation will take by Andrew.
Thanks, Ritesh. So you may be wondering, why should we implement Mission Zero at Concision? Before we do that, I'd like to give you a quick demonstration of the value Concision can actually offer you if you're building a home. Now, all of you have been given an A4 piece of paper with a house design drawn on it. This hasn't been cut out or anything, there are no tools provided. Who in this room thinks they could assemble a house out of that piece of paper in less than 2 minutes with what they have on them? Yes, that one. I don't think any of you could. You'd need scissors, you'd need to cut out, you'd produce a lot of waste, and you need adhesive. U-Chance just delivered you another Concision built house. This is pre-cut and it has the fasteners or double-sided tape, for this instance, already attached. Now I think anybody here could easily assemble this in less than 2 minutes with minimal waste and minimal fuss. So this demonstrates the advantages of Concision, and the waste paper from the cutouts has already been entered the recycling stream. So why implement Mission Zero? Well, besides the obvious environmental benefits, Mission Zero will also further improve resource efficiency, improving profits, and let Concision gain market dominance in this growing industry. Partnerships with locally sourced, sustainable and renewable resource providers will provide a high level of supply chain security. And all of these practices, once implemented, can be applied to the new Auckland factory from day one, further saving the company money. This results in a win-win situation. Negotiating take-back programs with suppliers will mean that any waste generated by the factory can be returned to the original supplier, where it can re-enter their stream. Wood offcuts, for instance, can be returned to the mill, where they can be chipped down and enter the fibreboard manufacturing process. The same as insulation, predominantly made out of glass fibres, can be remelted down to create new insulation. Now, adoption of Mission Zero as a way of thinking, Adoption of Mission Zero as a way of thinking will introduce these concepts into all of the houses that Concision builds, making them more energy efficient and reduce their utilities use, which can have a very wide-reaching effect on the total ecological footprint of New Zealand's housing stock. With the new Auckland factory running, Concision will be producing more than 2,000 houses a year. Reducing the lifetime footprint of all of these houses will result in major savings in CO2 emissions, energy use and water use, all while providing a cheaper and more comfortable living environment for customers. Okay, so potential problems. What could we run into? Budget constraints, a skills shortage, or the wrong mindset. So the budget. You as investors may be thinking, I don't want to spend a lot of money on the company for something which won't generate any returns. But thankfully, many of these measures can be implemented for next to no cost at all. Take-back agreements with suppliers require only negotiations, and the same trucks used to bring materials to the factory can be used to take waste materials back to the supplier. Ensuring products are sourced locally and from renewable sources requires a little bit of investigative work and may involve changing suppliers, but as an early stage company, this is not, this is a fairly simple process. Furthermore, partnering with distributors of low energy consumption appliances and negotiating discount rates for Concision homeowners will go further to reduce each home's environmental footprint. And given the size of the opportunity, i.e. 2,000 or more houses per year, many large retail chains will be very interested in having an exclusive access to this market. So there might be a lack of the skills needed. Thankfully, many of these solutions are simply negotiation-based. And as the management of this company has already shown continued ability to negotiate contracts with a variety of stakeholders, including managing a $5 million purchase order for the equipment in the factory, the managers have already shown that they have the skills needed to manage this change. And lastly, the mindset. So the implementation of Mission Zero requires a company-wide change in mindset about how waste is treated. We need to train our employees to see the value in the waste stream. Now ultimately, this means a senior executive must take responsibility for ensuring the program is adopted across the company. And so we'd like to nominate Bill G, the Director of Spanbuilt, and Mike Greer, Director of Mike Greer Homes, to lead this initiative. These are the two directors of the companies who have entered the joint venture behind Concision. Next one. So what has Langerock achieved by implementing this? Langerock has already achieved a 97% waste diversion from landfill from their construction sites. This means that only 3% of the waste that they generate ends up in landfill. The rest is recycled or re-enters the supply chain. They've received a 35% reduction in the lifetime carbon emissions of houses built in a similar factory in Europe. A 35% reduction over traditional construction techniques. Now, with 2,000 houses a year, this represents a massive reduction in CO2 emissions. Along with that, they've recycled more than 800 tonnes of timber already, and they source all of their timber from purely renewable forests. They have also moved their vehicle fleet to to energy efficient vehicles. So Concision should aim to achieve a similar or higher waste diversion, as well as ensuring all possible suppliers source renewably, and to adopt an entirely energy efficient hybrid vehicle fleet. We recommend Concision achieve these goals by 2020. I'll now hand us over to Jai to talk a little bit further about these goals.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. I would like to how will you implement Mission Zero? That's the question. So it's just, I will give you 3 simple points. It's small investment of creating awareness amongst the employees and promoting environmental products. We won't ask you for a big investment. It's like a small investment. If we implement an environmental Mission Zero, it won't create any big amount for you to purchase. So we can start with our product also. We can use the cut sheets, and we can recycle the cut sheets. And awareness, creating awareness among the employees can be. We will create an innovation team, and we'll help out the employees to create create ideas and innovate themselves. And we'll also promote the environmental products. We'll use the environmental products for our customers, and we'll give them suppose we give them solar panels to use them and reduce the carbon footprints. Next, our recommendation. I'll give you 3 recommendations. Plant more trees. Plant more trees. If we build a home, suppose we build a home and we cut down 60 trees. So we'll plant more trees than we'll plant 70 trees more than 60. So in anywhere plant we will make a point that every employee will plant more trees, and installing solar panels will promote our customers to go for solar panels, and will recommend our customers, and they will give us revenue also. if we plant, we will make them to install solar panels, and also we reuse the products. And reusing means if we are using for the landfill, because we need a height to home, so we use the remaining woods and stock, so we'll make them as a landfill, and we'll also recycle the products. And I'm creating a point again. And lastly, I'll make my investors to invest our company, that we're not making any big amount to you. It's a small amount, and we'll hope that you will invest in our company. Thank you.
Well, I still not really understand the recommendation part for plant more tree, how they more closely relationship with the sustainability for the company.
Yeah. Actually, planting more trees, whenever they build home, they used to cut down the trees. Suppose if they build a home and they have to cut down 50 trees. So we'll make a plan that if they cut down 50 trees, they have to plant 60 trees. Even if they cut down 50 trees, so cope up with the environmental, they will clean the air also, and the trees they cut down will add it more to the environment.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Like we have more tree, we will have more sustainability, right?
Yeah.
But how you make the customer can make the palm more tree, because when they want to building, the garden is not related for the.
No, actually planting more trees is not really you have to plant in the customer's area. You can plant tree in the forest also. It doesn't mean you have to plant in the customer area. You can plant more trees anywhere in the New Zealand, anywhere in the Christchurch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just as a follow-on to that, that was also my point about using locally sourced renewable resources. So our timber suppliers should only harvest from planted renewable forest, and not source their timber from, say, clear-felled rainforests or farmland. The same can be said for insulation, for fiberboard, for metals, for windows, for all of the products which Concision sources. They should incorporate as many renewable resources as possible. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Could you explain more about what is the concept of renewable forest?
So a renewable forest is a forest which is planted purely for the purpose of producing timber. So Woodhill Forest, for instance, is divided into sections, and the trees take about 20 years to grow. So trees are planted in one section, a year later they're planted in another, a year later in another, and so on, until 20 years later the first trees are ready to be harvested. They're cut down, sent to the mill, and new trees are planted in their place. So the forest is designed to renew and continue for a long time, as opposed to non-renewable forestry, which doesn't happen too much in New Zealand, thankfully, but some overseas countries have problems with deforestation, where rainforest is being clear-felled to make farmland, the timber's being sold off, and those trees aren't being replaced. So we're saying only source from renewable forests. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Hi. So, as you all know that there is one of the most competitive company, James Hardy, which is also building up the homes. So they have a fiber cement which they use for their production as a key resource, which is being certified as less carbon emission. So is there anything Concision is also doing about that? Is there any key resource in building up their houses which reduces the carbon emission?
You're trying to ask, are there any
key resource in terms to the carbon, less carbon emission? Like they are using the fiber cement when they build up the homes for James Hardy. Is there anything which Concision is doing when they are building up homes, creating the walls?
Well, the walls are primarily, as you saw in the video, primarily created from timber and a jib style board. James Hardy boards could be used. I think our supplier at the moment is jib. That's certainly something we can look into, but I'm not aware of anything at the moment, at least.
Actually, James Hardy also provide the fiber cement to Concision because they are more into the timber and they more into the wooden houses because at Christchurch it is more earthquake area, so they're more into that timber wood. Yeah.
Right at the beginning of your presentation, I was immediately curious to know how, for Concision, how long is it between when a customer expresses an interest in the product, they place an order, the design for their house is made, it's prefabricated, it's installed, they move in. Have you got some information on that?
So a typical time, if there isn't too much of production backlog from the customer first making contact to having a completed house that they can move into, is only 10 weeks. And this is down from 22 weeks, which is a traditional build style. Now, most of that 10 weeks is in the factory, and that's just it's rolling the different panels through our plant. They can be assembled on site from one truck. Or say a typical 3-bedroom house can be shipped to site on one truck and assembled in less than 8 hours. From there, the only things that need to go in are the flooring and the paint, which only takes a few days after that. So as you can see, like I tried to demonstrate with the paper model in your hand, it's a drastic reduction in the time needed to build a house.
Thank you. So, someone mentioned about hybrid generation. Wasn't quite familiar with that concept.
Actually, I'm talking about a hybrid generator. Nowadays, we can see they're going to, all the companies are going to reduce the carbon, because now we can see most of the people are using diesel generators. Instead of we can use hybrid generators. We can connect that with solar panels and we can use that energy also. Maybe on the low time, at the time of evening, at the time of night or the noon, at the time we can use solar, and then we can shift to diesel at the time of high load. That's a hybrid generator.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
I can add. And we are promoting to our customers also that use this hybrid generator and solar panels so that they can also reduce the carbon footprint. So if we buy some hybrid generators and sell it to them at higher prices, and they will also claim revenue to our companies also. Yeah.
Okay, this is a question for everyone in the class. Think about it. How could some of the ideas that you have come across in your presentation, or even in other presentations, how could some of those ideas be implemented, first of all, in your personal TPS assignment, and or in other situations, companies that you are associated with? Yes, Ben.
the Andrew gave them your assembling thing. We can use some TPS ideas to reduce our time, and we can pre-manufacture our things. That I'm doing our project in Samsung. So in this there is a lot of Kaizen things. So if somebody is put this pen here, so we can put this here, so that the operator should take less time to do the process. So small thing gives the major impact on the production line. So it also improves the production quantity. So I think that would be a very good deal, because Concision also has a production manufacturing line, assembly line. So it would be very good for us to benchmark the process at the Concision.
The question I'm asking is, what are some of the ideas you've learned from Landrock and Concision? What ideas have you also learned that you could apply in your personal assignment 2, the deploy extraction system assignment? So what? You've been working on it for several months now. So what are some new ideas that you could adopt from what's happened here?
Well, my assignment 2 is based around the sort of optimizing my kitchen space. I guess one area is looking to replace appliances with energy efficient ones. Possibly, if I were to take a Concision approach to food manufacture, then you could prepare, say, several meals worth of ingredients in one go, store them all pre-cut, pre-prepared in the fridge, and then just use them as needed. I struggle to think of anything applicable beyond that, though.
That's a good answer. Yeah.
There's a company called Menulog. Not Menulog. Food in a Box, who are making a fortune providing pre-cut meals as well. Just by the by.
Anybody else?
My assignment is based on like my I'm doing it for my bedroom, so I found out that it was full of messy and it's not proper, so I need a wooden table. So I bought a wooden table to arrange my things, but I would use one of the recommendations, like I might plant some trees for that, like because I used wood, so I might end up doing it. Yeah.
Did you buy a new table, or did you buy a second-hand table, or did you buy surplus timber?
It's a second-hand table, so it's a reused thing.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Good. Thanks very much.
I think I overall like these slides very much. It was pretty impressive about the pictures which has been included into the slides.
I think in your presentation slide will and your content as well is have the fully detail about for the sustainability for our topic today. So yeah, it's quite good.
The USP of your presentation was you included the video of your target company, which nobody else did, so that's good.
Me. I like the way that you assessed the capability of the firm, target firm, to absorb some of your recommendations. In particular, you assessed its negotiation capability, which would be a key requirement for implementing some of the take-back recommendations, to take waste, surplus back to suppliers and have them find useful things for it. So that was a good point. Okay. Areas for improvement.
Yeah. So one of the improvement which I was just checking on the page, it was like you have shown here as 99% of the waste diverted from the landfill, but on the slide it was 96%. I think.
The slide was talking about Lango Raw,
Okay.
what they have achieved, whereas the recommendation there is what we recommend Concision aims to achieve.
Sure. And one of the things which I've said to the previous team, like if we can have more points added onto the slide for some of the recommendations, and the part which Ritesh told about the London investing more into the water side. So it's only just one line if we can add more points to that. Thank you.
Areas of improvement.
Well, I think maybe for the handout, maybe it's only just this is nothing no necessary for this because we are talking about sustainability. But your paper is look very good, but it's not sustainability.
If you bring up the handouts to the front, and I'll make sure they find their way to recycle.
Yeah. But I know there's quite have a cost of money is quite high
Oh, yeah,
because the paper is
Well, it's fit for purpose. You need
Yeah.
stiff paper to make this.
yeah.
Okay. Other areas of improvement?
The presentation was good, but I did not feel it was that user interactive. A little bit less, and this distracted me a lot when you gave it to me. So, yeah, that's it.
I've already said.
Right. Just be aware, two of you. One still, hands in pockets.
Eagle
Find
eyes.
somewhere better to put them. I think someone else was doing that as well. Who was it? Who was
Sure.
the other person, hands in pockets? Sure. Okay. Abbreviations. There were abbreviations happening all over the place, and I lost track. I still don't quite know what DFMA was. BES. That might have been British Environmental Standard. I was only guessing. So just make sure that they are displayed, or you explain them. Some of the Indian speakers in this class have a natural habit of speaking at extremely fast speed. Now, I got up at 5 o'clock yesterday and 6 o'clock today, and I'm on one cylinder. Or two at least. So just when you're talking amongst yourselves, you cope with this fast speed, but other people for whom English is an alternative language, and we have people from Vietnam, China here, asked them, did you find...
I find a little bit difficult when you explaining. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fast bit rate, it's fast information transfer, plus there's the challenge of the accent to get used to. I'm used to the accent, but the high speed and accent will be difficult for people with different accent tunes, so just tone it down. Especially in New Zealand, because where everybody comes from somewhere else. Yeah. The slide design was inconsistent. Some were exceptionally good slides. There was, as I was thinking about this, was a really good one with Andrew's one. He had the points on it, and there was a sensible image which had some relevance to the content on the slides, where some of the other slides they could have been broken up into several slides, 1 point for each slide. There was a lot of talking around each point, and much of it was potentially very visual. So a picture is 1,000 words. Use it. Okay. The other improvement, make sure you do include this information that we've asked questions about, particularly what this target company is about the time it takes between placing an order, design, prefab, installation, moving. So make sure you do, make sure that's there. And the points I made about the recommendation for the previous presentation, make sure who does what by when, and what the benefit of that recommendation will be. Yeah. Other points to make? I think we're pretty well. Oh, final positive points. Other positive points.
I think in the question part, you guys do very well because you're always positive to answer the question, even sometimes you will be confusing or you don't understand, but you will try to answer our question. So that's very good.
The presentation was formal, and all the speakers were good, very good.
I think overall the teamwork was really nice. Everybody had good knowledge about the part they were saying, which was really nice, and less use of the handouts, and everybody was engaged into what you were saying. It was really nice.
I really did like the exercise here. I'm not allowed to talk about improvements, but I think you could have introduced this earlier on. I wasn't aware that this was here at the beginning, but I think you could have said, "Oh, by the way, you're going to be making a house, and this is the normal way we make it." Get us to start thinking about the problem. So by the time you engaged with us, you did that. You could have, if we had more time, perhaps you could have actually given us a competition to assemble the house rather than have us distracted by assembling it. You could have given us a competition and judged who had done the best job of assembling it with minimal waste. You could have given some tables this to do, some this to do, and some with even worse, just the individual components which they had to sort of stick together. But that would have added another 10 or 15 minutes to the discussion as they explored ways of applying Kaizen or reducing waste and all that sort of stuff. But as you see, it's a talking point. There's a great deal of benefit to use an exercise like this. Secondly, detailed and comprehensive content provided through. Oh, I was surprised to hear about Landrock having 20,000 employees. That came quite some way through the presentation. That needs to be early up in your report. We saw the lion and the pussycat. I saw it was more of a lion and an ant in terms of, it sounds like the scale of the organisation. I hope we all get a chance to visit this company sometime in Auckland. It sounds a great company to see the operations and see all these things whizzing and banging around. Any more comments from anybody else? No? Give them a hand. Right, I'd just like to say this series of presentations has been the best collective series of presentations that I've had from this class. You're far superior students than previous students have come through. You've benefited by the wonderful teachings, who give you exemplars from previous years that you've intelligently drawn examples from. And also your good and thoughtful work. So I think you should give everybody a